Simply put, job one is jobs. We will measure and measure and measure, and that is how we will succeed.
Tonight, Governor Rick Snyder's first State of the State address. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Suzanne Jihad.
And I'm Brian Sterling. We carried that speech live earlier on WXSP. The governor hit some of the state's biggest issues. He laid out his plans for the next 4 years, and for the first time since taking office, he talked specifics.
We're going to have tough, hard measurements, and our achievements or lack of progress will be evident. So tonight, I am presenting the Michigan dashboard. I will present a summary of this dashboard in every State of the State address I give. We must do more to help students achieve academic success. We've been spending money without delivering the results needed to give our young people a bright future. It is time that we view our educational system that runs from prenatal through lifelong learning. It is time to start talking about P20 instead of just K through 12. Our budget will include the elimination of the job-killing Michigan business tax and replacement with a 6% corporate income tax.
The governor specifically mentioned Grand Rapids twice in that speech.
He said he's going to set up a new office of the executive branch and will locate it out in the cities. And he said he'll tap into Grand Rapids' successful economic development agency to bring foreign business to all of Michigan.
We will create an Office of Urban Initiatives to proactively address issues in Detroit and the rest of the urban areas. In addition to Detroit, we will look to establish offices in Grand Rapids and the Flint and Saginaw areas. And because the right place in Grand Rapids is the best at international business attraction, we'll leverage their capabilities to benefit the entire state.
All day we've been live in Lansing, and tonight we continue our live team coverage from there.
24-Hour News 8's Tony Tagliavia is zeroing in on a major part of the governor's plan. That's the elimination of the Michigan business tax.
First, we go to 24-Hour News 8's political reporter Rick Albin with analysis of the state of the state. Rick?
I've been here since about 10:30 this morning, and the first people I talked to said, well, we're not sure if this governor is going to get down to specifics. By the time I talked to the Senate Majority Leader, the Speaker of the House, and the Lieutenant Governor, they all said, don't be so sure about that. Well, now that it's all said and done and the governor delivered his speech down at that end of the Capitol, we've got a lot of specifics and some reaction. When it was all said and done, many legislators said they liked the governor's tone and his speech, but of course, there are always details.
I think he presented a lot of great ideas. Of course, the devil's in the details, and I look forward to discussing that to make Michigan a better place to live.
We had a lot of good ideas. I think that we will be fleshing out all of the details in it, and we have to do that. And I think it's great that he told people exactly what he wanted to do.
So, can you balance the budget and eliminate the MBT at the same time?
Well, certainly that's going to be an area where we're going to have to figure out how we either make the cuts necessary to balance the budget. I think we can do it without raising revenue, but it's going to be even more difficult if we eliminate all that revenue we've gotten from the business tax. I don't think there's necessarily going to be broad agreement, even from the House Republican caucus, on that concept.
Well, I know that we can go ahead and get rid of the MBT. That's going to happen for sure, and we're to focus on Jobs One. And that's probably what you're hearing from every member that you're talking to. Jobs One is the job of the day, and the MBT is going to be the first to go. So we'll look at the rest of it as we go along.
On balance, the new governor got high marks, even from Democrats.
I thought it was a positive speech. It's a positive atmosphere. He said some really key things. Accountability. If you notice, mentioning Grand Rapids and the success of West Michigan several times in his speech, and actually using right place for international. This is a governor that's done his homework.
He may have done his homework, but what exactly will come of this speech? For example, the MBT, if it's taken away, that means the budget deficit for the coming year could be over $3 billion. That's a lot of money out of about an $8 billion general fund budget. And what about $25 million for Pure Michigan? A lot of folks who are in the tourist areas say that sounds good, but that's a big increase in spending. At the same time, you're cutting a tax rate for businesses. And finally, what about building another bridge in Detroit? The governor says he supports it, but will Republicans? As one of our One of the reactions from one of the lawmakers earlier said the devil is in the details, and those are the details that we'll be following over the next few weeks as we continue the most comprehensive coverage here in Lansing of what happens in government and politics. We're live in Lansing. Rick Albin, 24 Hour News 8.